Looking for a breakout or a sleeper pick in your PPR league at wide receiver? Well, Michael Fabiano's got his top 5 to target at the position. Babs, let's count him down, starting with number 5.
And let's start with Elijah Moore. I love this kid. Last year showed some flashes as a rookie, averaged nearly 13 fantasy points per game. I get it, the Jets drafted Garrett Wilson in the first round, but I think Moore is going to be the #1 option for Zach Wilson in the passing game, and you can get him as a wide receiver 3 right now. I am big on Elijah Moore.
He certainly looked like Zach Wilson's favorite target last year. I don't see that changing. Moving on up to number 4. Who you got?
Another wide receiver in the AFC East, and that's Gabe Davis, right? No Emmanuel Sanders. He's going to be the #2 guy behind Stephon Diggs. The Bills' offense is going to be very explosive once again with Josh Allen under center. And Davis, I mean, if we learned anything from that postseason game last year against Kansas City, this kid can put up massive numbers at a moment's notice. I don't know that he's going to be one of the top 15 wide receivers in fantasy football this season, but you can draft him as a wide receiver 3, and maybe he'll end up being a top 20 player at that position. There's a lot of upside here.
That postseason game would have been worth 52 PPR points if it were regular season. So yeah, it's totally juicy, and word is that he is supposed to be the wide receiver 2 this year. Of course, keep your eyes on camp. Number 3, who you got?
Rashad Bateman there in Baltimore. When they traded Hollywood Brown to the Cardinals, that's nearly 25% of the target share out the window. I think Bateman will absorb a lot of that. And really, who's behind him? I mean, are we looking at Devin Duvernay? There's really not much behind him. Obviously, Mark Andrews is the #1 option there for Lamar Jackson, but Bateman should be the #2. You can get him as a wide receiver 3 right now. And remember, Hollywood Brown put up some pretty good numbers last year for Baltimore, even though they run the ball a lot. So keep tabs on Bateman. He's a guy you can probably get somewhere around the 7th round in drafts.
Yeah, Bateman's a great pick and really the only deep threat they have, and he was great down the stretch last year. Okay, number 2, this guy actually is going to pair up with one of your sleeper quarterbacks.
And that's Darnell Mooney. I don't know that he's a sleeper, but I think he can be better than he was last year. And last year, he was a top 25 wide receiver. He had over 1,000 yards receiving, and now Allen Robinson's gone. Now, maybe that's a bad thing because defenses were drawn to Robinson, but it could also be a good thing because, well, Fields certainly has a good rapport with Darnell Mooney. Mooney is a guy, much like most of the players on this list, being drafted as a wide receiver 3, he's got wide receiver 2 upside.
And your #1 guy to break out this year, I really hope you're right because I've already drafted him a lot, and I believe in his quarterback also being a sleeper. Give him to us.
And that's Michael Pittman Jr. He's not a sleeper. He's a breakout candidate, as you mentioned. He was the wide receiver 17 last year, and that was with Carson Wentz. Now he's got Matt Ryan, who we all agree is an upgrade at the quarterback position. I talked to Colts wide receivers coach Reggie Wayne recently, and when I asked him about Pittman, he basically said, this kid's going to eat. And I believe Reggie is going to be correct. Michael Pittman could end up being one of the big breakout wide receivers of 2022, right up there with my guy CeeDee Lamb. So I have Pittman right now ranked in the top 10 among wide receivers. That's how confident I am that he'll have a big-time season for fantasy managers.
Well, I'm getting excited just talking about it. I feel like going to do a draft right now. You guys, if you want all of our sleepers, busts, breakouts, and more, be sure to visit us at si.com/fantasy. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we'll be bringing you video content throughout the fantasy football season.